Welcome to our channel, where we bring you the craziest and most heartwarming stories from the animal kingdom. Today, get ready to witness an extraordinary display of bravery and power as we delve into the incredible tale of a donkey who saved the goats from a hungry hyena. The sun was blazing over the savannah, painting everything in gold. The air was hot, heavy, and still, too still. The goats grazed near the edge of the thorn fence, their ears twitching, uneasy, as if they sensed something was wrong. The soft bleating of the goats was the only sound disturbing the stillness, a stark contrast to the deadly drama unfolding nearby. Hidden in the tall grass, a hyena patiently stalked its prey, its keen eyes fixed on the unsuspecting goats. For hours, it had been lying in wait, observing the herd, studying their movements, waiting for the perfect moment to strike. Suddenly, a loud noise broke the silence, startling the goats and sending them scattering. In that instant, the hyena pounced, bursting out of the tall grass with a ferocious growl that echoed across the plain. The sound was deep, sharp, and filled with primal power, freezing every creature in place. Fear gripped the goats as they huddled together, bleating frantically. The hyena, with its mottled coat blending perfectly with the earth, emerged from the grass, its head low and its yellow eyes gleaming with anticipation. The hyena's growl rumbled like distant thunder, daring anything to stop it. The sight of the approaching hyena sent panic rippling through the goat herd. They pressed closer together, their bleating rising in volume as they tried to make sense of the danger that loomed before them. Amongst the goats, there was no shortage of ideas on how to deal with the hyena. Some suggested running away as fast as their legs could carry them, while others advocated staying put and hoping for the best. But the truth was, there was no easy solution to this sudden danger. The hyena's presence hung over them like a dark cloud, threatening to unleash havoc at any moment. As the hyena drew nearer, its growl intensifying, the goats instinctively knew they needed to take action. The danger posed by this predator was too great to ignore. The question was, what could they do to protect themselves? Just then, a figure emerged from the panicked crowd, stepping forward with a newfound determination. It was an older goat, one that had seen its fair share of seasons. With a commanding presence, it addressed the trembling herd, its voice strong and steady amidst the chaos. "Don't just stand there paralyzed with fear," it exclaimed. "We need to act now." The older goat's words cut through the panic like a beacon in the darkness. His calm demeanor radiated a sense of urgency that jolted the goats out of their stupor. As the goats gathered around the wise old leader, he outlined a plan. "We'll huddle together for safety," he said, "and whoever goes outside the circle will be responsible for keeping watch and driving away any predators." The goats nodded, understanding the gravity of their situation. Huddling close, they formed a tight circle, their collective bleating echoing their fear and determination. Then came the inevitable moment when the hyena burst through the center of the goat circle. The goats scattered, panicking once again. But this time, their older companion was prepared. With a swift movement, he raced to the center of the circle, blocking the hyena's path. The predator hesitated for a moment, taken aback by the unexpected resistance. In that brief instant, the other goats regrouped, reforming their protective circle. The hyena snarled, frustrated by the sudden setback. It paced restlessly around the perimeter, eyeing the goats with predatory intent. Meanwhile, the brave leader continued to stand firm, challenging the hyena to come closer. He knew that the predator's power lay in its agility and stealth. By keeping it at bay, he was protecting the vulnerable goats. However, the hyena was persistent. Sensing weakness in the scattered herd, it launched repeated attacks, attempting to break through the circle and isolate a lone goat. Each time the hyena struck, the goats huddled closer together, their fear palpable. But the older goat remained steadfast, his heart pounding with determination. Despite the overwhelming odds, the goats persevered, their collective bleating echoing their unity and resilience. They were determined to protect their own and stand against the hyena's reign of terror. As the minutes ticked by, the goats grew increasingly fatigued. The hyena, sensing their exhaustion, redoubled its efforts, becoming more aggressive and relentless in its attacks. In a desperate attempt to break the hyena's hold, the goats began to take shifts, venturing slightly outside the circle to graze and rest. This risky maneuver allowed them to regain some energy, but also exposed them to the hyena's watchful gaze. The older goat, noticing the strain on his companions, urged them to keep pushing, to never give up hope. His words served as a reminder of their shared strength and determination to survive. As the sun began its slow descent, casting long shadows across the plain, the goats faced their most challenging moment. The hyena, sensing the approaching darkness and their vulnerability, unleashed a final furious assault. With a deafening roar, it lunged towards the center of the circle, aiming to capture a young kid that had wandered too far. In a heroic last stand, the older goat rushed to intercept the hyena. His heart pounded in his chest as he positioned himself between the predator and its intended victim. With a mighty kick, he connected with the hyena's snout, sending it crashing to the ground. The hyena snarled, momentarily stunned by the unexpected resistance, but quickly recovering, it rose to its feet. its eyes blazing with anger. The older goat, injured but resolute, braced for the hyena's counterattack. He knew that this final confrontation would test his strength and courage like never before. The hyena lunged again, its sharp teeth bared in a menacing grin, but the older goat was prepared. Leaping into the air, he narrowly avoided the predator's grasp, landing gracefully on the other side. Seizing the opportunity, the older goat charged forward, his hooves pounding the ground like thunder. He rammed into the hyena, sending it sprawling once more. The hyena yelped in pain, its body crashing into the tall grass. The older goat stood triumphantly over the fallen predator, his chest heaving, his eyes flashing with determination. The remaining goats, witnessing the older goat's bravery, erupted in joyous bleating. They rushed to his side, nuzzling him and celebrating their hard-won victory. The hyena, realizing it had been outmatched, retreated into the tall grass. It disappeared from sight, its defeated growls echoing across the plain. As the night descended, the goats huddled together, their bleating now filled with relief and gratitude. They had survived the hyena's relentless attacks, all thanks to the courage of their leader. The dawn broke over the horizon, bathing the savanna in a golden light. As the goats emerged from their shelter, they were greeted by a sight that filled them with gratitude and admiration. The older goat, their valiant leader, stood proudly amidst the tall grass, surveying the surroundings with a sense of quiet dignity. His body bore the marks of the previous day's battles, cuts and bruises, that served as reminders of their harrowing ordeal. Upon witnessing their leader's return, the goats rushed to greet him, their bleating echoing with admiration. They nuzzled him, expressing their profound gratitude for his bravery and leadership. News of the older goat's heroic stand spread like wildfire across the savanna, reaching the ears of a majestic donkey who lived on the outskirts of the grasslands. Intrigued and deeply moved by the tale, the donkey set out on a journey to meet the older goat and personally express his admiration. As the donkey approached the herd, the goats parted, revealing the older goat standing tall and resolute. The donkey, upon seeing the older goat, neighed loudly, his voice echoing with respect and admiration. With a noble air, he stepped forward, extending his friendship and offering support in any future endeavors. Together, the donkey and the older goat stood side by side, gazing out over the vast expanse of the savanna. They discussed strategies to fortify their defenses and ensure the safety of the entire herd. The donkey's strength and experience, coupled with the older goat's strategic brilliance, promised to be a formidable force against any future threats. As the sun dipped below the horizon, casting long shadows across the savanna, the goats felt a renewed sense of security. The arrival of the donkey had brought with it a wave of confidence and unity. Together, they were ready to face whatever challenges lay ahead, knowing that they were stronger and more united than ever before. With the support of their new ally, the goats looked forward to a future filled with hope and resilience. They had endured the wrath of the hyena and had emerged victorious, proving that even in the darkest of times, courage and unity could prevail. As the stars twinkled above the savanna, the goats huddled together, their bleating echoing with contentment. They had found solace in their unity, strength in their numbers, and hope in the promise of a brighter tomorrow. And so the legend of the older goat and the donkey who saved the goats from the hungry hyena echoed across the savanna, inspiring generations to come. It became a tale of courage, resilience, and the power of unity in the face of adversity.